Fucking technology, man.
It really is like those scenes in the Millennium Falcon of, you know, ready to go, like to make that jump, and then all of a sudden it goes. Brr, 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 brr.
So our podcast is being run by the robot from Solo.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah,
She was pretty badass.
I just don't really want to know about the thing with Lando.
Yeah, that was odd.
It works. Okay. All right. So let's do this.
Yeah.
In 3.
I thought we were already going.
Well, the stream is going. Then we do the countdown.
Oh.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Geekodrome. Geekodrome is the weekly roundtable discussion of all things geek. I am John, and I am joined by the Italian-American dream, Jon Stugots.
What's going on, people?
Not much. This seems to be a week for endings. I don't know what was in the water. I mean, you grew up on Sesame Street, right?
Yes. Oh my God, I love Sesame Street. Big Sesame Street fan.
Who was your favorite character?
Ernie. I loved Ernie. I'm still a big Ernie fan. I have 2 different stuffed Ernies in my house, as well as a painting of Super Grover. Those are my 2 favorites. I think I have a stuffed Super Grover too, to tell you the truth.
Iconic. But unfortunately, Carol Spinney has announced that he is retiring.
Man. And he's done this since the beginning.
He is one of the original puppeteers.
Yeah.
He was in the Big Bird suit up until somewhat recently. I mean,
yeah.
He's 84 years old, so he kind of retired from that part. Somebody else had been doing the acting in the suit, but he was still doing the voice of Big Bird, Oscar, and others. But he has announced it's coming to an end.
What's that, bud? Oh, already done.
You should be good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. I need you to come. Like, when could you come again?
I don't really.
I need a couple of outlets put in here in the living room. Okay. The boxes are there for them. I'll get the outlets and the stuff. I'm sorry.
If you'd like to do work on Stugots' house as well, feel free to contact him, and he can talk you through it during the show.
I'm working all weekend. So let me finish this job, and then I'll let you know.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's got paint on it. Just let it dry, and you're good to go.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. All right. Be careful. I'll see you later. Thanks, Patchy. Sorry,
okay.
I did warn you about that.
You warned me before we started broadcasting, but
yes.
Don't worry. If anybody else wants to work on your house, contact me on Twitter at Don Stugots, and they too can talk to you while we're recording.
Well, my cousin is a handyman, and there's things that I just have him do just to make sure that he makes money.
No, of course.
Things that I could easily do. It's just getting sure that guy makes money. So.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's all good. So, yes. So Carol Spinney,
yes,
after 60 some odd years, is retiring. And it's really sad. I mean, the fact that this man has been doing this since the very beginning it's iconic, and it's almost unheard of in this.
And he's what, 84?
84, yeah.
And he's been doing this for 45 years or 46 years, right?
Yeah.
I know they keep saying 50, but it hasn't been on TV 50 years.
I'm looking up the year it went on air.
I want to say it was like 70. Could have been 72.
I want to say it was in the 60.
Like 68?
Yeah, its first episode aired November 10th, 1969.
Okay. So then it would be almost 50 years now.
Yeah, and I believe it's the end of this month where he's retiring. So he's 49 years. I think we can give him the 50.
Yeah. No, his last show was Friday.
Oh, it was Friday.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I thought he had one more week.
Man. Imagine. All right, so he's been doing this. He's been doing this since his mid-30s. And now, if someone was to start doing something in their 30s, and I'm speaking obviously from the criticisms that I get for the stuff that I do. That's old.
Yeah. Well, I think things now don't have that kind of longevity.
Yeah, yeah.
There are very few things that have lasted, even 20 years at this
No, but
point.
like even to be getting into it, into something new in his 30s,
Oh yeah.
that's considered to be old now. So, and I get it. At 44, I get people telling me like, "How are you a food blogger? You're in your 40s." I'm like, well, I've learned how to type back in 80 fucking 4 when I had a typing class, and I'm pretty sure that's the biggest part of food blogging is typing. But I also do videos, and when I start talking to like people younger than me, and they start like hearing the stuff that like I'm working on and how I do it, it's like, yeah, but you're old. Old people don't do that stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm 44, not 90. So here's this dude in his 30s gets into this venture of playing Big Bird, which ends up being, whether he was an actor before or just in puppeteering workshops as a hobby in New York, which there are several. This dude gets a full-time paying gig in this career, in a career. It could be a new career in his 30s. That in itself is amazing. The fact that he's done it for so long in the movies and I mean, there are TV shows that Big Bird has made cameos in that you would never even believe.
Oh no, I totally know. Plus, they were doing stuff on like Saturday Night Live when that launched,
Yes.
and he was part of that. I mean, admittedly, I'm just skimming his IMDb right now, and it's all Sesame Street stuff for the most part. And then it's just appearances on like Jimmy Kimmel Live,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all these movies and Sesame Street, Super Bowl 50 Dream On remix, whatever that is.
Oh, well, the Aerosmith halftime show, he came out.
That's right. So he's done like all of these iconic roles as these characters,
Yeah.
and I'm being stared at for talking about Big Bird.
No, because you're bringing up Make America New York Comic Con again. A Motel America.
Oh.
Whatever. It's Make America New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And if you would like to yell at John off microphone, just hit him up on Twitter.
Yes.
Just John, and you could be in his apartment yelling at him off microphone for his choice of shirts.
Choice of attire. Yes, I'm wearing the Motel America shirt from New York Comic Con, which is the American Gods motel that Shadow stays in.
I'm wearing my Jack Skellington t-shirt.
Well, you're a week early on that. This is Halloween next week.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's called like we don't have lights in our bedroom, and I just reached into a drawer, pull out a t-shirt. So
that's funny. That's kind of how my dressing got this morning when I was the only one awake.
And like to go to work, I really just wear a pair of workout like lounge shorts and a t-shirt, and then change into scrubs there. So it's not like I have to worry about what t-shirt I'm wearing any day of the week. So
yeah, it's okay. I wear a black t-shirt every day to work.
Yeah,
it just simplifies things. So yeah, so back to Carol Spinney. He, I mean, the fact that his entire IMDb is Big Bird and Oscar.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are his two main characters. I don't even know if he's done any others. So
I'm sure at some point, he's done more. Only because at the beginning there weren't a lot of people as far as cast members. You know what I mean? So you had like Frank Oz doing different voices. You had people doing. I say guys, but I mean people. I'm not trying to put a gender on it.
Yeah.
You had people doing characters on Sesame Street doing different characters on Muppet Show, and it's because they were all just hanging out and getting work done.
And it was all the Henson Company. So
yeah. So like when I tell people, whenever I watch Blues Brothers with someone for the first time, it's for the first time for them, and I tell them like, oh, see that guy behind the counter at the beginning giving John Belushi his belongings? That's Frank Oz, and they always go like, who the hell's Frank Oz? Fozzie Bear, Bert. He's the guy who does the voices, and it's like, what? And you're like, yeah, that's the name Fozzie Bear is a amalgamation of his name, Frank Oz.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was only about a half dozen people initially.
You're right. So you're going to get people doing, one person doing 2 and 3 voices is common, or was common. I don't know about now.
Yeah, now it's not really. Like, it's probably more 1-to-1, just because they are a big corporation now.
Yeah.
as opposed to like rebel artists. And you watch the early Jim Henson stuff. He was very much a rebel. Like Sesame Street was not what he was doing. And then
Yeah.
it became more kid friendly.
There was so much sexual innuendo or double entendre in those early episodes, and that now wouldn't fly.
Well, I know that
With standards and practices just wouldn't go for it.
was it on Sesame Street or just Muppet Show where they were doing.
Well, there was some. You could actually go on YouTube and look it up. Like Sesame Street stuff. I'll do it right now while we're talking. So it's a conversation I've had with several people over the years, because people have with stuff I used to do with like Stugots Puppet and the other cast of characters that I had in the suitcase. People like, hey, that stuff's not for kids. Like, well, no, neither was Sesame Street when it first came out.
Yeah, well, Muppet Show definitely was, and the first Muppet movie has so many inappropriate lines. It's hilarious. And there's just so much and the stuff they did for Saturday Night Live, which weren't like official Muppet characters. They were sort of made for Saturday Night Live characters.
Yeah.
So it was a little different. But yeah, I mean, they were slipping in a lot of that stuff. In fact, I once...
20 times that Sesame Street was creepy.
Oh, no.
Sesame Street meant for adults. Early episodes of Sesame Street, which have been released on DVD, come with warnings saying these scenes meant for adults, not children.
Yeah, I know that originally they did DVD sets of the first 5 seasons.
Yeah.
But so what are a couple of the lines that were in there?
There's one episode where Elmo was looking at Katy Perry's bosoms, but it's a lot of it is perspective. You have no idea. Like I did one time, Stugots Puppet went out to Long Island to do an interview with a local cable access show, and I'm under a table operating, and there's no monitor under there for me to know where I'm looking, and it looked as though I wasn't even at the lady who was asking me a question. I wasn't facing her. I was looking away. So the feedback I got from the people, watching, there, like my friend Sean, who was with me, he was like, dude, it looked good because it looked like you couldn't be bothered speaking to her directly, which worked for the character. But if it was meant to be a real intimate conversation, it didn't work.
Yeah. The Muppets guys do have monitors underneath though.
Yeah. So, I mean, he should have known. But at first you might not realize how the head's pointed, but after a while it's oh yeah. Elmo's looking at her bosoms, which I don't blame Elmo for looking at Katy Perry's features. I mean, she's a beautiful young woman.
Well, she was wearing that Elmo dress around that time too.
Yes, yes. Well, she was on she was on the was that Saturday Night Live, I think?
Was it Saturday Night Live or one of the talk shows? It was something like that, yeah. But yeah. But there was a lot of just,
But even Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Pee-wee's Playhouse rather, was the same way. There was a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff or humor, for adults that the kids didn't pick up on.
Well, especially if you watch the original HBO special.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was spun out of the stuff he was doing at the Groundlings.
Yeah.
Phil Hartman helped start it, and then they kidified it for TV.
But there was still that innuendo. And then what was the Miss Yvonne character, right? That had the cleavage.
Oh yeah.
That always made him a little uncomfortable. And it's as a kid, you always had that one friend whose mom was built, right? And you were like, oh, I feel so creepy. It's just so weird, talking to her. But it's at the same time, you're it's normal kid stuff. And that's what came across on the Pee-wee's Playhouse stuff. To me, anyway. That's how I always picked it up.
It was also, I think, that vibe of, well, she likes him, but he doesn't like her that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, great shows. And it's sad that we're going to lose Carol Spinney. I hope whoever they get is as good.
Well, or probably the person that's been filling in for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously had understudies and whatever since. So I honestly don't watch. I haven't watched in decades.
Yeah, I have a.
So
I mean, there's no reason for us to because we don't have kids. So, but I think I don't even know if kids today watch Sesame Street.
I couldn't tell you.
I have no idea how popular. Like as when we were kids, it was immensely popular. Like we'd go to school and we would talk about it. Like even though we weren't in that age range for it anymore, we still watched it.
We watched it for a while when I was in college too.
Yeah.
But the difference is also the 4 channels versus 400 channels.
Yes. Yeah.
Because even when I was in college, we didn't, have cable initially. So it was, 5, 6 channels. So yeah, of course we're gonna watch it because we're bored and we're gonna just sit around anyway.
And he's sitting around smoking pot, getting high.
Yeah, we're drinking and watching the
Yeah.
Sesame Streets.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
So, and something else that was announced that it was coming to a close this week. We're not getting any more Luke Cage.
That's pretty. I don't want to say crappy, but that was probably the one Marvel series on Netflix I enjoyed the most.
It was definitely the most solid story wise.
Yeah.
It's interesting where they left the second season off.
The dude playing him, I thought was very good casting. I loved
Mike
the. I definitely love the rap music overtones with everything with Biggie Smalls being referenced because I'm a big Biggie fan. So yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, well, the previous week we had lost Iron Fist, although we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned it on this show. So, what do you think is going to happen now since they're canceling Power Man and Iron Fist?
Well, maybe Disney will pick it up and make the Heroes for Hire series on their streaming service.
Yeah, I mean that's what everybody's hoping. They're hoping for Heroes for Hire or Daughters of the Dragon, because we had Colleen Wing and Misty Knight teaming up on the second Iron Fist season.
Yeah,
and it was awesome. I mean,
but I wouldn't mind if we got more shows in that same universe, or more series, or different series that same universe from different characters, and then this way you could have a Luke Cage cameo. You could, or maybe you would be able to have a Heroes for Hire cameo in one of these spin-offs. I won't mind having different series. It doesn't have to. You don't have to keep these same 4 series going, but I wouldn't mind spin-offs like like you're talking about with the Sisterhood of the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, people want to see more of these, and we're hoping. We don't know if Netflix is losing their contract or if it's being renewed. Initially, it was being said that the Netflix contract would continue, but legal things change.
Yeah.
So far, we're still getting. Well, Daredevil season 3 came out this week. Jessica Jones season 3 is still coming. Punisher season 2 is still coming.
Right.
And that's all we know so far.
Because the British TV shows, they don't stay on for long, right? Aren't they just like 10 episodes, like maybe 2 or 3 seasons, with very few exceptions? Like, aren't most of them like that, where they're short and don't last long? That's why you see the same actors in different roles, because it's the same production company.
Yeah, like the joke from a really old Simpsons episode. We're going to show you Britain's longest running sitcom at 7 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. So, keeping up with that, I mean, that's fine. And if you have work these other characters in as cameos or team-ups to appear down the line and build up to it, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was great seeing Iron Fist in Luke Cage season 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't watched.
I wouldn't mind if there was a Heroes for Hire series, then all of a sudden, episode 3, we get a gentleman with sunglasses walking up saying, "Hey, you guys are going to need some gear." And, just throws a duffel bag on the floor and takes his glasses off, and it's Agent Coulson, and he walks out.
That would be awesome.
And then you get Power Man getting some good gear instead of these clothes that rip apart all the time.
Well, I mean, the other thing is that they're trying to be street heroes.
Right, and that's fine, and I love that. I love like the two comic books that I have that I would love to write are street heroes. So, because that to me those are my favorites.
Yeah,
Um,
Daredevil, he protects what, 4 square blocks of Manhattan in Hell's
yeah,
Kitchen. So why not? But yeah, but I love the street level stuff. Not everything has to be a cosmic battle.
no, no,
I mean, that's part of my complaint about some of those Spider-Man movies. It's like Spider-Man doesn't have to save the world. Spider-Man could just save Aunt May.
yeah, he just has to save fucking Astoria. He doesn't have to save the city.
So, so I mean, I'm hoping for more from this. I don't want to see these series because the other thing is that they have a very adult edge to them, which
Yeah,
a lot of superhero stuff doesn't.
doesn't. Yeah,
And there were rumors that there was going to be possibly a Blade series, possibly a Moon Knight series. Like there were rumors that the Netflix universe was expanding.
I think a Blade series would go over big.
Yeah, I think there are still some rumblings about Blade.
Yeah,
Who knows what's going to happen with that? I know I saw something in the last few weeks about it. Moon Knight, haven't heard anything in forever. But Moon Knight's a great character too. He's sort of the crazy Marvel version of Batman,
yeah,
multiple personalities. And so there's so much to work with there between mythology and the multiple personalities. I mean, they were already starting that with Typhoid Mary in Iron Fist,
yep.
and she was damn good in that series. So, how caught up are you on the Marvel series on Netflix?
I did not watch the Iron Fist season 2, and I did not watch Jessica Jones season 2, and I have not watched any of Daredevil really. I've watched sporadic episodes, and I've watched all of the Punisher because I thought that was just awesome.
And Defenders,
Defenders, yes. I forgot about that. Yes, watch. Yeah,
the big crossover, like the kind of stuff we're talking about.
yeah.
And
No, I totally forgot about. Yes, watch that.
yeah, because we had actually talked about that one on here.
Yeah.
With the giant dragon bones under the city of New York,
Yes.
all that fun stuff. Um, yeah, man, I hate to see these go because I love that they have that adult edge. It's part of what I liked about the first episode of Titans, which I haven't watched the second one yet, but it just came out Friday. I haven't touched Daredevil season 3 yet, but I've watched all the other Netflix Marvel series. And I know, you and I have differing opinions on Jessica Jones, but
Oh my god.
Iron Fist season 2 was way better than season 1. Left with an interesting cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that explored. I'd love to see more of the Luke Cage left on a really crazy cliffhanger. I want to see where they go from there, where he's practically becoming the villain.
Yeah. Which is what happens. It's what what's his name said? Harvey Dent. You either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Exactly, and but it was such great storytelling, and it was I mean the villain was a little crazy with the voodoo type stuff going. And
They have to be a little crazy though.
I know, but that's what made it fun.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing. Like I want these things to be fun. I don't want my superheroes to be all dour the entire time.
No.
But it's kind of like why I liked Iron Fist in the Luke Cage series.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it was definitely different.
Yeah, and it was literally the opposite of Luke, who's
Yeah.
getting angrier and angrier, and Danny is just like this Zen character who kind of just pops in. It's like everything's gonna be all right, man. Just you got to do your thing, be your own self, and follow your vibe.
And every little thing is gonna be all right.
Yeah. But it was just that episode made me want more of the two of them together.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of it's, you kind of saw part of it without each other in the two respective series. But, I hope to see more. Who knows what we'll see?
I hope so.
Because we know that they don't really want to bring them into the Marvel movies.
Yes.
And they're not going to cross over into like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything.
No.
Which,
if anything, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would have to cross over to it.
Yeah. Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is ending anyway.
Yeah.
So, I hope to see more of this. I don't know if we will. We can only hope. There's been no official word from Netflix. Excuse me. Whether or not we'll ever see more Marvel beyond the stuff that's already filming.
That's a shame.
It is. It is. Because I'm just afraid that Disney's not going to want to do, the harder edge stuff on their network.
Yeah.
It's part of why this Fox
Oops.
deal, this Fox deal with Marvel is kind of like, good and bad, where we may not see another Logan or Deadpool
Yes.
because Disney does family friendly with their superheroes.
Logan was a great movie. We could do a whole 2 hours, I think, on that.
Oh, definitely. But the fact that we're getting these series that are just not cookie cutter superhero beat up the bad guy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I loved about the Fox thing. I don't love Deadpool 2. I was about to say episode 2, but it's not a TV series, unlike this other stuff we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I love the possibilities of Deadpool 2. I don't love the movie. Some of it was just doing that stuff for the sake of doing that stuff.
I know.
But whatever, get over it. Not every movie has to be for me. There are people who love that movie, and I get that. But I don't even love the character, so.
No, and there are people who are absolutely batshit over it.
Yeah. I have actively just finished reading a Deadpool comic and been physically, just angry after reading it.
What I can gather from people is that they love that he breaks character and talks to the reader, as like the old Gary Shandling show. We turn to the audience and be like, "Could you believe this is the shit I'm doing on TV?" And I think that transcends. I mean, obviously Gary Shandling show did it probably better than anything else, and because it was Gary Shandling. But if you look at in wrestling today, one of the most popular things going are the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks talk to the fans and act in the ring as though they are a fan. Oh yeah, could you believe we're going to hit 20 super kicks and we're still not going to pin the guy because it's fake, because it's a work. You know what I mean? It's hey, we're going to hit these crazy moves and not get the pin because it's a work. And while that's not for me, and I happen to like the Young Bucks because their work ethic and their do-it-yourself attitude and mentality is really just makes them appealing to me. So I'll always support them. It's just that part of the gimmick is what resonates with so many fans, and that I think that is part of the appeal of Deadpool, is that he's going to turn from in the panel or in the movie, turn to the camera and just be like, "Look at this crazy superhero comic book bullshit we're going to do right here."
I think there are ways to do that and not break the story. Excuse me, and not break the story.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Deadpool half the time does it for the sake of just doing it.
Oh, definitely.
And then there's other things with the character I don't care for, but when they do that fourth wall stuff, it's just, I don't know.
I don't like it. I mean, I genuinely don't like it in a comic book, but I say that as a giant Gary Shandling show fan.
What about Ferris Bueller?
Ferris Bueller, the few times that he did it in the movie, I thought it worked. But do I want to see that in everything? No. Did it work on the TV series? No. It just worked in the movie.
We don't like to talk about the TV series.
And no, because I was more of a Parker Lewis Can't Lose fan.
There's a reason why Ferris Bueller barely lasted a season, and Parker went for 4 seasons?
Man, Parker Lewis it was awesome. Synchronize your swatches. It was so cool.
Yeah, that show was so much fun. So I hope we see more Netflix Marvel because I like this hard edge stuff.
Yeah.
Not every series has been good. I acknowledge that. But I did watch them all, and I enjoyed them for what they were when I could. Although Iron Fist season 1.
Oh yeah. Terrible.
But even Defenders was Had its high points, had its low points.
But everything's going to. Nothing's going to be not everything. I mean, look at the season of Better Call Saul. Not every single episode of every show is going to be a 10. You're not going to hit home runs every single time you're at bat. It's impossible. Babe Ruth led the league in strikeouts as well as home runs. You know.
True. All right. So to leave off, which has been your favorite of the Marvel series?
Punisher.
Interesting. I really liked the story that they told about how, what the effects of war.
Yeah.
And I think I like that they made that the central point of the season. I have a feeling they won't do that in the second season as well, but
no.
I think that story kind of told itself.
But if there's ever a poster child for PTSD, it is Frank Castle.
Oh, very much so. And we'll be getting more of that in the coming year.
Yeah.
I mean, I always go back to the OG Daredevil season 1. It was just so good. It set the tone for everything.
Yeah, it did.
So, but did it set the tone for Hot Picks?
Hot Picks. I don't know. Maybe it did. What do you have for Hot Picks this week?
So, I have a different Netflix series.
Okay.
I started watching this week The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh.
Which is a series the Stugots will never watch, but
because it's scary, probably.
Oh, it's creepy. It is creepy as fuck.
You know, when you first said the title, I thought maybe it was a documentary on Hillary Clinton's campaign headquarters during the election.
But so the series opens with a family, who are house flippers, who are in this creepy old house, and it's a mother, a father, and 5 children. And something happens, and they have to rush out.
Oh.
And they're because the kids are first the kids are complaining about seeing ghosts or something, and then something happens, and they all are rushing out. And then we fast forward to the present, where it's the kids are kind of adults now, and where they are in life and how it's affected them. And the whole story is kind of told non-linearly. So we're jumping between the present time, the past, when they lived in the house, and then bits that happen in the middle. Like, hey, here's a flashback to one of the girls' weddings and things like that.
Yeah.
And it is so good and so creepy that it's one of the best ghost stories I've ever seen. And I'm only halfway into it because I don't get enough TV time in general.
I understand.
But, it's so fucking good. I don't know where they're going with this because we caught episode 5 before bed last night, and it has a major twist to the end of the episode, and totally didn't see it coming. And I'm just like, wow, this is so good. And oh man, I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know what's going to happen with these ghosts and these people, but I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fucking good. So yeah, so that is my hot pick.
Just in time for Halloween.
Yes, it is. And it is a Netflix exclusive show. So you can stream it anywhere, anytime, and enjoy the scares.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Stugots doesn't like the horror.
Oh my God, not at all.
So it's all good. So what do you have for us that is less scary than The Haunting of Hill House?
I have an awesome film that it will be out on DVD shortly, if it's not out already.
Debbie Does Dallas?
No.
Oh.
The Black Klansman.
The
Spike Lee film.
Joint.
Based on the true story of police officer Ryan Stallworth, who was one of the first black police officers in Colorado Springs. Moves up quickly through a work ethic to be undercover, and decides to, through a series of phone calls, become a member of the Ku Klux Klan in Colorado Springs, with obviously someone else, another undercover agent, being him, like for meetings and such. Um, Through a series of phone call conversations, he catches the eye of the head of the Ku Klux Klan in those years, the Grand Wizard, David Duke, who flies from Louisiana to Colorado for this young man's initiation into the Klan, because he's so impressed with this young man's viewpoints and how articulate he is in expressing those viewpoints. Um, and part of what comes up in the movie, when the first time you hear the David Duke name, is David Duke. Isn't he like a politician in Louisiana? And it was explained the Klan works differently now. They're not just trying to be out in the streets burning crosses. They're infiltrating banks and governments. So this way, one day, they'll have one in the White House that will change things back to the way it was. And I don't know, because I didn't read his book. I just saw the movie. So I will have to say, I don't know if this was artistic license on the part of Spike Lee. And if it is, I'm not making an accusation or anything like that. It's just, if it's not, it's holy crap. And if it is, it's like, well done storytelling. He uses a lot of when David Duke's speaking, he uses a lot of the words that President Trump uses still to this day, of America First, Make America Great Again. Those slogans are from what I've learned in the movie. And again, I don't know this to be historically accurate, which I'm sure it is. Wouldn't surprise me. Are Klan slogans,
Yeah, it came out while he was campaigning, that when he was using America First, that it was definitely a Klan slogan.
So then, you fast forward to the end of this film, and they show the stuff in Charlottesville, from last summer, and President Trump on the campaign trail, and then his what he said about Charlottesville when it happened. But then it cuts to a couple days, I guess, after the election of Trump winning, to David Duke standing on a park bench with reporters all around him in a park. I guess maybe he was just like at a game, like a ball game or something at a park, and all these reporters flocked to him. And he stood up on the bench, and he just said straight out of, Donald Trump uses our vernacular, so I have to assume that he will be pushing forth our organization's views.
Yeah.
And to see it in a movie, because I don't watch a lot of news, and that's by design. So I would have to say, I don't know a lot about what some of the stuff that goes on, but it's like, hey, if logic dictates, okay, if I have someone saying that the words and the verbiage that I use in my speeches aligns with their racial rhetoric, I change my vernacular. If you notice on the Eat Up show, and this is just something I started doing, so you'll see it phased in and phased out. I always used to do the okay sign when I would come onto the show. I do for a couple of reasons. One, it was an Illuminati hand symbol, and I just thought it'd be funny to just throw a little Illuminati hand symbol out there. But it's also from the Little Rascals, buckwheat, ote. So to me, it's all stuff that's pop culture. So I just always use it.
All right.
So go ahead.
I got to cut short. Something's going on here.
All right, go ahead. All right.
So, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Right. So it's been a great show.
No, we can go a little longer. Okay. Sorry, I thought we were having an emergency here, but I've been told not. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off then.
That's okay.
But all of that was going on Twitter, in his speeches.
Yes. So it's like, holy crap! This movie. I guess I could read the book, which if I wasn't working on my degree, I probably would have time to read a book for recreational purposes and see if that's the stuff that was said at those times. But it's a very interesting movie, and I do enjoy those undercover type movies, like that. So
I do too, and I enjoy Spike Lee movies. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's like if it's not a big actiony movie where it should be seen on the big screen, then I kind of wait for home video.
Yes, which is how I've watched what American Made and The Infiltrator, movies I've very much enjoyed, but I wouldn't necessarily go to the theater to see.
Oh yeah, I can probably say that some of my favorite movies are movies I've watched at home.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that wraps up Hot Picks. And that only leaves one thing. Because if you want more Geekodrome, check us out at geekodrome.co.
You know you want more Geekodrome.
You always want more.
You know it.
And you know what? You should just subscribe. You can subscribe here on YouTube where we
And
do
you
our
get
live
all
show.
the Geekodrome you could possibly imagine.
Oh yeah. So if you want to catch us live, subscribe on YouTube. If you want just delivered right to you, we're on iTunes, Google Play. I double checked. We are on Spotify now. After last week's show, I did confirm.
Spotify money's coming in, baby.
Oh yeah, the pennies on the pennies.
Oh man.
If you want to hit us back up, we're on Twitter at Geekodrome Pod, on Facebook at Geekodrome Podcast. I am John. I can be found on Twitter at Just John. Stugots can be found at Don Stugots on Twitter. Plus, he's filming the Eat Up show for your cooking enjoyment.
That's right. Tonight, Jen and I'll be filming some shows that will be ready for November. So they will be Thanksgiving side dishes. And then tomorrow night, 8:05, new episode coming out.
Awesome.
5 p.m.
Can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be the last thing I watch before I head out on my vacation this week.
Awesome. Awesome. So you'll be in Florida, and you're not driving over to here. I heard you were sad about that.
Yeah, you can see the tears coming down.
Actually, I have a message from someone saying that you were sad about that.
Well, you know, my spies are leaking information everywhere. Apparently,
yes.
Yeah, we'll be around Orlando.
Yes.
So,
You drive over here. You can eat.
but I don't have a car.
Rent a car. Go over here. You can eat.
Well, I do like eating.
See.
Oh, well, we'll have to see if we can work something out. But in the meantime, it has been